Humans are makers. We can take dead things, a pen, a brush, some scraps of paper, and turn it into art. But art takes work, craft. And art forms find their makers as much as their makers find them. Why does that happen? What really goes into making art? That's what this show is about. We tell the stories of ordinary people and the hard work of their extraordinary art. I'm Kevin Elliott, and this is Craft.
I try to tap into me not standing in my own way, because you get that little voice in your head that's chirping, don't do that, that's against traditional rules or whatever is chirping at you. I just try to dull that voice and play.
Art, or at least art fans, can be surprisingly strict. They like categories: sculptor, watercolorist, banjo player. But some artists refuse to be assigned a category. They make what they make, how and when they want to make it. Kristin Anderson is one of those artists. His pieces are childlike and sophisticated, simple and indecipherable, powerful yet subtle, a blunt object, and a scalpel. According to Kristin, if you're looking for a category, you are missing the point.
It's pretty random. I'm big on random. The connection, the things that I use, the subject matter that I choose. And also I try consciously to do things that people aren't sure of.
As far out as Kristin's art might seem, he started like all artists, and humans really, just doodling.
As far back as I can remember, I just could draw different things. It was Bart Simpson, really young. Then I progressed to comic books, pushing myself, trying to step out the box. Then it was realistic things.
But unlike most people who leave doodling behind in childhood, Kristin kept on drawing. He has a great touch with realism. Those drawings anchor most of his work and are sometimes the only recognizable element in his pieces. However, like most memorable artists, Kristin had a revelation at an early age that captured his imagination and sent him to a place well beyond just drawing the physical world.
Just in the studies of high school, I found Rauschenberg and Basquiat.
Robert Rauschenberg and Jean-Michel Basquiat were two of the most influential artists of the 20th century. Their work spanned everything from graffiti to paper to paint to found objects. It is explosive and messy and scary. Their irreverent style somehow found a high school Christon Anderson in Panama City, Florida, and showed him that, in art, categories don't matter.
And I don't know, just the playfulness of it, it had so much going on. In the screen print of Kennedy, then they had little squiggles of one color of paint and a squiggle of another color of paint. It's more free and, you're not in a box in any way.
But abstraction was not Kristin's revelation. Lots of budding artists were impressed by Rauschenberg and Basquiat. The big moment came when it occurred to Kristin that he might not only be as good as those guys, but might actually have something they didn't, that he could add to the art world.
And I'm like, but neither one of them are doing anything realism or realistic, you know what I mean? So I felt like that gave me an up. I could do these two things, but neither one of them are doing the one thing that I could do, So yeah, it was, it pinged.
And that ping, random collections of stuff with a touch of realism, became Kristin Anderson art. Another captivating element of Anderson's work is his use of everyday objects. Kristin is a magpie, constantly hoarding the Scrabble of life most of us can't wait to get rid of. He sees the energy in these things and uses it to bring his pieces into 3 dimensions. When you stand close to one of his works, it's all you can do to keep your hands to yourself. You want to touch and connect and play. Kristin sees it as time travel.
I'm a big fan of the life before mine. You know, it's fascinating. I have a sheet of paper. How many hands has this piece of paper been through from 1934? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a ponderer. So that I was always drawn to that. I've had things that I found and kept for like years before I used it. But then when I used it, it was super money.
And again, Kristin holds to his theory of the best art being play. Kids on the beach don't overthink their sandcastles. Just enjoy the experience.
Usually it comes together pretty organically, so I can't say, think this, only get this from it, you know what I mean? Because it didn't come together like behind that idea.
Even though he has done the hard work of carving out a unique niche in the art world, Kristin still resists categories and predictions. He always retains the right to go back to a pile of random stuff and start playing a totally new game.
I got another one after this one I just did, you know what I mean? And it's like I've even written down ideas, like I want to do this piece, this piece, this piece. So I still got those lists to get back to. Once I find a spot, a break of the flow, then I can go look at a list and do something that I wanted to do back when I was 13, you know what I mean? So it's a lot to do. It'll be around for a while.
If Kristin Anderson art proves anything, it's that we never really grow up, and in some ways, shouldn't. The human species is at its most joyful when it is making. Not making for any purpose or cause or profit, just making something because it feels good.
You feel it, then that's enough. You understand words, you understand what words mean what things, but does the piece itself make you feel a certain way? You know what I mean? Like whether it be happy or sad, or you just admire the piece, whatever the feeling is.
Maybe that's why Anderson's art is so powerful. Something in our modern, adult, overworked, and hypercritical minds recognizes the memory of a daydream we had once, when all we needed to be happy was a pile of stuff and an afternoon outside. We recognize a guy having fun.
That's it, man. I'm having fun with it. And if I got people follow me while I'm having fun with it, I'm sure they'll follow me as I try to learn new things within it, you know, so they should stick around a while.